How you doing, everyone? So we're going to make this beef stew today, beef and vegetable stew. The beef I've got is not the best quality. It's a bit of a stew one, bit tough, but we're going to get it in a pressure cooker and get it super tender. And then we're going to add loads of veg, as you can see. Tomato based. I've got garlic in there, a bit of cumin. There's carrots, there's potatoes, there's zucchini, there's bell peppers, there's onions. It's fabulous. Welcome back to How to Cook Great. So we have here our beef. I've got 1 kg of beef there. Now it's not the best, by the way, that's 2.2 pounds. It's not the best quality. It's a stewing beef, fairly large chunks. What we're going to do is we're going to pressure cook this and get it really beautifully tender. 1 cup of onion, couple of bay leaves. There's a whole head there of garlic. So what's there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 cloves. A teaspoon of black peppercorns. A teaspoon of rosemary. That's a dried rosemary. And a teaspoon of thyme, and we're going to add some salt to this as well. So let's get this in the pressure cooker and get it going. So here's my pressure cooker, and in there I've got 5 cups of water. We're going to add in our chunky cut beef, couple of bay, cup of onion, all of that whole garlic, rosemary, peppercorns and thyme, teaspoon each, and then we're going to get some salt in there, roughly a teaspoon. Okay, so lid's going to go on. I'm going to bring that to pressure. Once it reaches pressure point, I'm going to let it go for about 15 or 20 minutes. If you don't have a pressure cooker, you can just do this in a pan, but it's going to take you maybe an hour or something like that, maybe even more. Okay, here we go. Okay, so for 2 reasons, we've done ourselves a big favor there. We've tenderized the meat and we've pumped loads of flavor into it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to separate the meat from the water, but we need to keep both. So the meat on the left with all the herbs and spices all in there, and the water that we cooked it in on the right, because we're going to use some of that to cook as we go on. Let me show you some other vegetables. Okay, so we've got our beef done. Now, if you've got a really lovely cut of beef, you obviously don't need to go through that process. You can just go in with the raw beef if it's a beautiful cut. Right, we've got tomatoes there. That's fresh tomatoes. There's 3 cups there. I've put them into my food processor to get them nice and thin. If you don't have a food processor, you can just cut them really small. Potatoes, 3 cups again, which is about the same volume. Both of these are about the same volume as the beef. We've got 3 cups roughly of beef. 2 cups of chickpeas cooked. A tablespoon of garlic, a cup of onion, and then these are the other veg that I'm going to put in today. I've got carrots, bell peppers and zucchini, about a cup each. Okay, so look, I'm going to be cooking in this kind of wok thing so you can see it really clearly, but you can be doing this in, you know, a large pan or something like that, a large saucepan. Okay, I've got about 4 tablespoons of olive oil in there, and I'm putting in that 1 cup of onion. To that I'm going to add a tablespoon of garlic, and then I'm going to drop in my carrots. They're nice, big and chunky. Celery works really nice in this as well if you have some and you like that. And we're just going to go for 3 minutes on, as you can hear and see, a fairly lively high heat. Fantastic. Okay, we're going to get our pressured beef back in there. And you can see the bay in there and any other of the herbs and spices that we put in. So that I'm going to add, we didn't speak about this earlier, but I'm going to go with 2 teaspoons of cumin powder. You could be using something else if you want. Go for a bit more rosemary maybe. And again, 3 or 4 minutes, stirring all the time. Really fabulous. Okay, potato time. Cut the potatoes in a similar size to the beef, and it's roughly the same amount in volume, like about 3 cups of each it works out. And again, we're going to go 3 or 4 minutes getting those potatoes and the meat mixed together, get some of those lovely spices on them. Great stuff. I'm going to add some salt and some black pepper to this. Nice couple of big pinches of both. I'm going to drop in now the 2 cups of chickpeas and the 3 cups of tomatoes. Like I say, these are raw tomatoes, fresh raw tomatoes. I've just put them in my blender, get them nice and small. You can cut them really small. If you wanted, you could use a can or 2 of tomatoes. Not quite the same flavor, but it can definitely be done. Okay, about 6 minutes now. Stay on this vibrant heat, giving it a stir every now and then. We need to cook those tomatoes down a little bit. Okay, so those tomatoes are cooking really beautifully. It's all coming together nicely now, isn't it? Okay, so you remember that water that we boiled or pressured the meat in? We're going to add some of that because it's got some lovely flavour. If you've forgotten about that and thrown it away, you silly Billy, then you should add some water or some stock. So let that go now again. Bring it back to boil. Let it go on this kind of fairly lively heat for about another 5 minutes or so. Okay, off goes the heat. That is beautiful. What you want to check is that your potatoes are cooked nicely. Mine are really nice and soft. We know that the beef is good. Now if you want, you can get some chopped parsley in there or something like that. Check it for salt. That's done. Beautiful. Okay, and there you go. Lovely big old bowl of stew there. Feed the whole family with, no problem. That's delicious, that is. That beef is really, really tender. Hope you enjoy that. Take care. See you soon. Lots of love.